What up, guys? Total Control 871, and I'm going to give you fair warning right now. Today's headline news, if you want to call it that, it's going to be all over the place in terms of topics. I kind of got backed up on my topics log as the things I want to talk about, and man, there is like it's a log jam in my head about things that I want to talk about. One such topic that is like way from out of left field, that's like crazy obscure. You know what I want to know? I just like contrived a theory a few days ago. Where the fuck did dogs come from? I mean, it's really begun to like blow my mind because there's obviously in the news there's no shortage of dog stories. You know, you get your cats too and other types of animals, but it's primarily your dog stories in the news that you know, of course, Facebook, they utilize the stories to manipulate you, the reader. It's just one of their variety of tools on how to manipulate you, make you happy, make you sad, sympathetic, outraged, etc., all that stuff, right? So it got me to thinking, where the hell did dogs come from? It's super duper creepy when you stop to think about it. At least I think it's creepy. If I'm not mistaken now, evidence of dogs on Earth is only recorded about, I don't know, I'll just say 7,000 years ago. We see in ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics, Anubis, head of a man, half dog, stuff like that. But is there any evidence whatsoever of a canine existence prior to that? Where are the fossils? You know, we see feline persuasions, saber-toothed tigers out there with the woolly mammoths, you know, hundreds of thousands of years ago. We see that, you know, and of course there can be an argument as to you know, what happened to them. Actually, you know what, with the whole feline thing, I told you today's topic's going to be all over the place. I can't help but wonder, dogs constantly crossbreed species. Cats, your domesticated cats will, but your tigers, lions, puma, jaguar, they don't. Why? You know? Is that what preserved their size and ferociousness? Because they did not outbreed, they only bred with their own kind. Of course, there I could totally segue into a whole is bigotry genetic in nature? Is, you know, the need to stay with your own race, your own kind, your own, the whole thing that the fucking Nazis would argue, master race, all that shit, is it genetic? And if it is genetic, is it a plausible defense for those 99-year-old Auschwitz guards and, you know, the Nazis that the Jews to this day are still hunting down? 99 years old, they're demented, what? Who am I? What? You know, but yeah, you know, it's like, where did dogs come from? There is no evidence. There's evidence of us humans. They got the earliest humans, of course. That whole thin line blurring between the man, the ape, the primate, the evolution. But the point is that there is clear evidence of humans, of just about every kind of persuasion there is, of reptilian life, bird life, everything, except for dogs. where the fuck did they come from? You know, it almost makes me wonder, like, considering the spooky hieroglyphs of space visitors being around that time several thousand years ago, and then all of a sudden we got dogs. Did dogs come from outer space? Dude, where did dogs come from? It's some creepy shit when you think about it. You know, it's like there's no proto form of a canine, like how we have saber-toothed tiger, you know, proto versions of, you know, the feline. Where the hell did dogs come from? That shit is creepy. And it could even be said that, once here on Earth, so some might perceive the vector as being wolves domesticating down, the evolution went in that direction. There's no guarantee, because we still have wolves today. What makes you think the wolves are not the end result of the domesticated dog, canine, becoming more feral and more aggressive? So the wolf is the actual end result, not the beginning, but the end. So I don't know, it's just kind of creepy. Alright, that's it for the dog talk. Okay, I'll delve into some headline news here. I told you Michael Cohen was going to be a huge clusterfuck. I'm going to say this also. Giuliani is not the crazy... Rudy Giuliani is not the crazy, whacked out lawyer that people and the media are perceiving him to be. I believe Giuliani is establishing the prestidigitation, the prestige. He is establishing the sleight of hand. He is the watch the birdie while other things are going on behind the scenes. Giuliani is clearly setting into motion a history of philandering for Donald Trump, paying off women for Donald Trump. I believe that Giuliani, along with whatever lawyers are still willing to serve with, still willing to be in Trump's employ, they know what was seized in the Cohen raid, the FBI raid. And now that they know and they understand what evidence that the FBI now have, or because I know they got that whole what do they call it, the neutral vetters, where they vet the evidence that was seized. I forget what the term is being called, but if the FBI haven't seen and reviewed the material yet, then it's just a matter of time before the special committee, pours over it. And Giuliani, he damage control. They sat down, brainstormed. Oh my God, what do they have their hands on? What are they about to do? Let's start throwing meat to the media. Donald, this is what I believe Giuliani had to sit Donald down and get him to understand. You're going to have to take a hard hit here, and we're going to see if we can keep it in a domestic fashion. Presidents have been known for their philandering before, so billionaire philanderer, we'll see if we can spin it like that. And that's what the media has been, as of late, been running with. It also helps to spin the Stormy Daniels thing. Stormy Daniels cameo, SNL, way out of line. Destroys and annihilates whatever shred of credibility a porn star could have possibly had. As a victim and a survivor of sexual assault, I can fucking tell you right goddamn now, there is no goddamn joking about that shit, alright? So whatever it was that happened to Stormy Daniels, her threat, her parking lot threat, her mystery man threatening her child, whatever kind of sexual impropriety, innuendo that she is alleging here, I can tell you right now, the shit didn't happen, alright? And if it did happen, then she is a worse human being than Donald Trump ever could be, because you don't joke about that shit, alright? It's not something that you find funny at all. Giuliani is throwing red meat to the media, and the media are picking it up and they're running with it. That's what's going on with Donald Trump. I'm gonna put him away. I really didn't. Like I say, I got a log jam of topics, and all right. Moving on. I want to talk now to my my anti-cycling motorist subscribers out there. There is in Abington, Pennsylvania. I telephoned the police chief in Abington, Pennsylvania a couple of days ago. I knew at that level, they never take your phone call. Matter of fact, even lower levels, you know, captain, lieutenant, nobody's got fucking time for your ass, you know. That might be something the police might want to start altering. Seems like they never have time for the public unless one of their officers has been caught in some serious shit. Anyway, so I telephoned Chief Malloy. Patrick Malloy was his name, and is his name. And they put me through to his voicemail. That was fine, because that was pretty much what I knew would be. And I left a message for Chief Malloy, introducing myself in a sentence or two, letting him know about myself, this YouTube channel, and my protest for cycling advocacy. And I then went on to kind of postulate a question to him. Given my circumstance of protesting, and given the type of protester that he has been left to deal with, there is a man walking around with an AR-15 slung over his shoulder, exercising his Second Amendment right. Would he like to trade? Would he like to trade protesters? Would he much rather have a protester like me, a person that is exercising their vehicular cycling rights to the road, rather than a person walking down the sidewalk with a lethal killing machine at their disposal? You would think that it would be an automatic, you know, no-brainer. Of course he'd rather have the cyclist, but you know, I want to put this question out there to all of you. You know, remember now, the AR-15 guy, he's on a sidewalk, and he's not on the road. He's not a vehicle that you got to share with. I mean, you guys already hate sharing the road with other cars that can do the speed limit. You know, so it is very thought-provoking. The road rage mentality. Would you rather be in a neighborhood, traveling in a city where there is a man on the loose with an AR-15 rifle? Or would you rather be in a city with a cyclist such as myself who insist upon utilizing their vehicular cycling rights to the road? They ended up doing something that is extremely troubling. Very slippery slope. Very dangerous. They ended up, now, did they call this man's friends and family, or did the friends and family call the police? We'll never truly know who reached out and contacted whom. But it was then deemed that they were given information that to date has not been detailed whatsoever, that the police department said, well, this now warrants a 72-hour psych hold. Now, with that 72-hour psych hold came immediate nullification and eradication of his Second Amendment rights. They obtained a search warrant, seized his gun, took it away from him, any ammunition, magazines, and they said some other items which they did not detail. And when the press media questioned Chief Malloy, stating will he be able to get that weapon back, Malloy said no, that he will not be able to get it back, and that he will not be able to purchase another firearm ever. Chief Malloy also went on to say that this person has not been charged with a crime. This person is probably going to be released after a 72-hour psych hold, and they will be completely stripped of their Second Amendment rights. Now, I want to be fair to Chief Malloy and the Abington Police Department. By the way, I also said on his voicemail, I gave him my telephone number, and I let him know that I would like to get a comment, his take of the matter, for this news channel. And of course, there's been no reply. But I just wanted to make you guys know I definitely reached out to Chief Malloy to offer this platform to him, to voice his side of things. In our mass shooters, there has never been any type of problem referencing the manifestos, the schematics. This is, if there was like drawings, a ledger of some sort. What was it that was so compelling that you seized this person for 72-hour psych hold and then stripped them of their Second Amendment right? I mean, are you just simply going to be content with referencing mental instability without any actual concrete proof? And are we, the public, supposed to be sated with this? I mean, if that's the slippery slope, if that's the boulder that you want to put into motion, then what other things, what other constitutional rights can be denied of us? Now remember, you're talking to because you might be saying, oh, well, come on, Total Control. That guy had an AR-15 rifle. He was an eminent threat to the society. Remember, this bicycle and this cyclist was also abducted, unlawfully seized by Pleasantville police officer Ralph Burke for doing absolutely nothing but riding my bicycle in a peaceful, law-abiding fashion. A bicycle. Do you see what I'm talking about now? So you can't sit there and say that it would never go that far. Oh, you're making too much of it. You are going to the extreme with your comparative analogy. Actually, there is no analogy here whatsoever. I'm talking fact. Oh, it would never happen to me. It would never happen to me. Okay. But a bicycle was deemed so threatening. A man, an American citizen, who wanted nothing but his equal and civil rights to travel freely, was deemed so dangerous that I was held in a psych facility, stripped of my right to choose. You are terraforming terrorists. I do my best to advocate for as much peace as I possibly can, but you're definitely not making it easy. in the same vein of bullets and bikes and cars and things of the sort like that. Bullets, bikes, and cars. Apparently, America has found itself plagued with some freeway snipers. I believe one here in New Jersey. I forget the exact township or county. I think it was Northern Jersey, though. Woman, boyfriend in the car, 1-year-old child, on an off-ramp, going onto an off-ramp, leaving the freeway when she was shot fatally. And then I think, you're going to have to forgive me. I'm sorry. Like I said, there's so much in my head. They're just, if I'm not mistaken, yesterday or today, another freeway shooting. People were shot in the leg and the hip. They did survive. Point is, there appears to be, once again, the freeway snipers. They tend to crop up every once in a blue moon. Yeah, I'm going to do my best to remind you drivers, you know, as you balk at, as you are so angry at us cyclists, please try and remember that there are far worse traffic situations that you could be contending with than simply changing lanes and safely overtaking a cyclist. Also, going back to the whole separation of civil rights, I believe in Philadelphia, SEPTA police officer Greg Miller, he has just returned to duty. 2 years ago, he was horrifically hit while jogging. Apparently, he's a jogger. He was out with his wife, off duty, jogging, hit, body annihilated. I believe he just took place of the Blue Cross run that just happened yesterday, I think it was. So a long road back, and he stated that among his injuries, he also had to deal with a great deal of depression. Interesting choice of words. So, Officer Miller, you just confessed to a mental illness. If you're dealing and you're struggling with depression, oh my, should you be allowed to have a service weapon? Couldn't that be kind of dangerous? Perhaps you should seek a different form of work, a different line of work. Yeah, we're only doing this for your own good, you know, because, well, now that you've been compromised, yeah, we just want to think of the public's well-being. You know, I don't know. Maybe Officer Miller should be held for 72 hours. And when released, never, ever again to be allowed within a foot of a firearm. Seeing as how that's how easy it is to alienate a person from their constitutional rights. You know, the rights that literally say they are to be inalienable. You know, Chief Malloy went on to say that this man surrendered his rights to have a firearm. You just said he wasn't charged with a crime. What did this person do to surrender their rights, to lose? He didn't surrender them. They were taken from him. People have no idea the danger that is inherent in this kind of social justice. Alright guys, there's so much more that I probably want to talk about, but this has probably gotten long. Yeah, so shit's gotten crazy. There was a guy, I want to say Florida, led officers through a chase, or was it just, I forget wherever it was, a white guy and whatnot. lead him through the chase, and they finally caught up to him. They held his head up, by his hair, and it looked very, very Taliban beheading. It looked like the kind of thing that like what the Taliban do to their prisoners just before they are beheaded. It looked very, very ugly. It's very important that our law enforcement remain civil. They need to understand that criminals are not to be punished in the field. I believe it was Miami, a police officer basically returned a suspect's head. He was being handcuffed. You are terraforming terrorists. Okay? And what was it, last week, a couple weeks ago, we had some ambush shooting of police officers. I honestly don't know the motives behind these factions. If you want to call it just, they might be just. They might be psychotic. They might be crazy. You don't know. You want there to be peaceful resolution. But police are making it so very difficult. The job has become so toxified. The badge has become toxified. It really has. Alright, I guess that's it. That's all I can really get out of the log jam today. So there you go. Total Control 871. And where the fuck did dogs come from?